Rent. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Give Me Rent.
Big Memorial Day weekend, huh?
Yeah, I mean, probably the biggest Memorial Day weekend for movies in years, especially because of the latest Disney live-action remake, Lilo and Stitch, which made an absurd amount of money. This is actually the biggest opening for a Memorial Day movie of all time. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I'll give you the numbers real quick. We have in just 4 days, keep in mind, Lilo and Stitch just domestically made $192.7 million and 361.3 globally, which is absolutely ridiculous.
That is.
I thought these live action remakes were going away. We saw Snow White make absolutely nothing, but now we have the inverse of that.
This might push it, honestly, to keep continuing. But I saw it, and fun fact, actually, Lilo and Stitch was the first movie, like the first animated one was the first movie I've actually seen in existence as a kid.
Wow.
And Lilo and Stitch, like Stitch has been, it's funny to say, like a big part of my life, just really influenced me to enjoy and embrace, I guess, like the ocean and wildlife. It really had a big influence on me, impact, all the Stitch movies, Lilo and Stitch, the series. So for somebody who it's such their comfort movie, shout out to Gabby. I know another friend of mine, massive fan, but this movie is so important to a lot of people, specifically in our generation.
I think it's perfect to ask you. And what did you think of the remake?
For what it was like a 6 out of 10. But I just feel like they forced change onto so many important moments into that first original movie that it just really made it almost pointless to why would you even make this. So for those who knew who Gantu is, he's the bounty hunter in the first movie. He's after Stitch. Who Jumba and Pleakley are. Like, everyone's going to understand who they are, but Jumba has no accent. Like, listen, I don't understand why you would not do that. It's the whole point of him being, like, an evil doctor. Like, that the whole point of him is to have that, to put so much emphasis on the evil doctor stereotype.
Yeah, well, as the live action, what do people really want for these live action movies? Do you think it even warranted his existence at all? Did it do anything new?
They want an exact copy of the original, but just in live action, just to see another perspective.
I would argue that's not what people want. I think people want something new. So,
well, no, I meant like for something like as this. There's some stories where you could change it, but this is a story you cannot really change. Like,
see, that's tough. Like,
getting out the biggest antagonist, I feel like was such an issue.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I honestly got to disagree with you a little bit because I think, at least for me, if I'm hearing there's going to be a live action remake, I want it to have something new. I want it to at least warrant its existence, which is like, show me a new angle here. What was something you could actually show in live action that would look different or something like that,
That I agree with, as in the fact of, you could do Nani and Lilo's, relationship at a very more emotional angle than, let's say.
Do you think they did in the live
Which
action?
I think they did. I think they try to force it, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The relationships are definitely
that's
changed.
different, but I feel like changing the entire chemistry, because Jumba, if they make a second one, he's supposed to be like Uncle Jumba. Jumba and Pleakley are supposed to live with them. Like, they're supposed to be a big part of Lilo's life. Lilo doesn't have parents, they passed away. So the whole point of those two being a part of it is it's like she has another family now. So now making Jumba this antagonist kind of defeats the purpose now of, like, if you guys make a second one, now it's going to be completely different. And instead of it being more focused, like you said, on emotion, other things, like, it's going to be completely flip-flop possibly next movie, unless they somehow, force him. But
do you want a next movie, though? Did you like it enough where you think they should keep going? I think you
leave it. Nani also now went to college. There's the whole thing. She leaves Lilo behind. There's, like, a whole other thing they added to it. And it's like, okay, if you guys want to go that direction, it's cool. I just feel like not having Gantu in it is such a big thing. You took out the big antagonist. It's like them doing a live action of, let's say, another TMNT movie, and it's not Shredder, and it's just someone completely different. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be. Like, let's say they make Casey. It's like making Casey Jones the villain instead of Shredder. That's actually the best comparison I think I can give it.
Yeah, it's like
Casey starts off as antagonist.
So they did take a wild swing.
They took a wild swing. And to me, like, for what it was, because I have to accept, like, I saw it, I paid money. There was moments where I was looking at it, I felt like a little kid again. Like, there was moments that were very heartwarming. It's like, wow.
Yeah, they definitely hit the nostalgia notes, I'm sure.
There were some scenes that were very similar to the original that I was, like, happy. I'm like, I appreciate this.
I think you're really getting at my issue with these movies, though, is that no one really knows what they want with them. And right there is, why are they a thing? It's, do you want it to be a complete rehash of the cartoon, or do you want it to be a completely new thing? And then no one, you know what I mean? There's always going to be one half of the puzzle that is not satisfied.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like these live action remakes just don't really belong. You know, like I don't really think they should be turning it out unless it really, really garners it, which is, I'm going to, bring up the one that's coming out in 2 weeks. At least it's a DreamWorks one, How to Train Your Dragon.
It's the first one ever. So
it is.
I
their
have
first
faith
one.
for them just because it seems like Disney's just been swinging and missing. I mean, Lilo and Stitch, I'm not gonna lie, is definitely the best one so far.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
That,
had better.
maybe
It's
Jungle
definitely had a
Book.
better reaction than their last few before this, no doubt.
And
but
it looked great a lot of the scenes.
I just feel like it really.
but it felt like it was.
It's been a
missing
while
something.
since a live action remake. Everyone's been like, "This is great."
A lot of people
none of them are great.
No, a lot of people complain, "Oh, Pleakley's not in drag. This and that." Like the one thing was that people forget is Pleakley was not a drag queen in the original. It was just an alien dressed as a female, and Jumbo was dressed as a man to blend in. Like it wasn't that deep.
Mhm.
Do I understand the new angle they went at now?
But yeah, you're.
But-
This is again to my point. Like, why are people pointing out these small little changes
Like,
when it just shouldn't matter?
That shouldn't matter to
If
me.
it's going, these little things are gonna make people mad, like the original fans. Why even make a live action remake in the in the first place?
A human
I just
disguise
feel like
was a human disguise.
just go
That's
watch
how
the
I looked at
cartoon.
it.
The cartoon is great. I love Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
The original cartoon. I don't feel any need to really see the live action remake because I know there's already a great cartoon. You know?
And I really did like the original voice actor came back. I wish Pleakley's did. I know the guy that played Jumbo.
Well, it's
passed
nice
away.
that the actual creator of Lilo and Stitch came back and did the live action movie, and it's nice that with How to Train Your Dragon, the creator and original director and writer is coming back to do it too.
Yeah.
At least there's someone passionate behind in the writers' room.
It just felt very empty. Gantu not being there. I'm just gonna. That's still my only issue.
Well, I remember seeing the director say it just didn't work in live action, but that's the thing.
Then
These cartoons, they work as cartoons. Why are you making it live action?
I feel like it did work. It just feels like there's another reason behind it, if you want to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I don't know how it doesn't work, but you made the story more complex now, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
How would it
it's
not?
a bit of a paradox there.
It just doesn't. It seems almost hypocritical in a way, in a sense. It's you changed it more drastically and had to rewire most of your story, and you think it was hard. Like, I think it had to have been a CGI thing, budget maybe. Like Disney has so much money, it's like it's one of your biggest characters. A lot of people don't realize that Stitch is one of the. You look at voting and stuff like that in polls. Stitch is one of the most popular Disney
Oh
characters.
yeah,
of all
he's
time.
great. I think Stitch is a great staple of Disney at this point, and that's exactly why they kept the original voice actor too, because they wanted to keep him as authentic as possible. He's Stitch.
And I really liked, I'm gonna say, the marketing and advertising because it reminded me of a kid when you would see him like over the chandelier in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
and
like
all
those.
that
that
stuff.
was the original marketing for the original cartoon was so.
And,
was so
and they
great.
did, they try to replicate that a
Yeah,
bit
a little
now.
bit.
and
I love seeing him at the Super Bowl.
I felt like
take over
it
a little bit.
wasn't pushed out enough like it used to be.
Yeah.
Because I
No,
remember as a
yeah,
kid,
I
it was on
agree.
everything. I know TV's different now, so take that into account. But it definitely makes me start thinking a lot about, what should get brought into live action, what really shouldn't. Is this something that's justifiable? I mean, listen, everything's going to be brought into live action regardless. Like, we have no control. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think if DreamWorks kills it with How to Train Your Dragon, kills it, because it looks like a lot of scenes are identical,
Yeah.
they will probably make a couple others and take a couple other risks. And I think they're gonna topple
Well, I think
Disney.
Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon is going to dictate the future for Disney and DreamWorks. Disney is definitely going to look at the numbers of How to Train Your Dragon and see if it works. You know what I mean? Disney is definitely going to continue creating these live action remakes for some time because there's clearly an audience for it. Clearly, there's people that want to go see these.
I personally was very excited for Lilo and Stitch. We talked about this
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
first started our podcast in general. That's was one of my most. I was looking forward to that more than most of the movies, just because of how that movie shaped me and made me who I was. And
Yeah.
it's like I enjoyed it, but there were moments I was like, "Come on now, like you can't leave that." Like the whole Stitch Elvis persona and even the connection was so sacred. I felt like in that film, and they didn't have it in this. At the ending, after the movie ends, it's
But
Stitch
again,
dressed as
do you
Stitch.
want them to just bring back the
Well,
old stuff?
no,
Like,
but
it
there
has
was
to check
there's
off a
but there's
checklist or
there's
something.
meaning to it with the stories. What I'm saying, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like they took out some stuff that was very meaningful to the character,
But again,
scenes.
that's literally my point right there. It's just like, what do people want from these things?
people. I don't think people
know?
are
I feel
afraid
like
of
you're-
change.
Yeah.
I think it's when it's something so drastic. It's like that affects the movie itself.
Yeah,
You could change things in the movie. Like I will say this, Gantu not being it is such a big thing. Like you're taking me certain
but does that ruin
dialogue
the
is-
whole movie?
It does because the whole point of the ending of the first Lilo and Stitch, that if they do make a second live action, I was like, Jumbo and Pleakley are now family to Lilo. Like, that's the whole
Well,
point.
they're clearly taking a different approach.
Yeah, no, I get it. And we're going to have to see how it plays out, if it works or not. But it was just frustrating for me, at least, because I'm not someone who believes it should be 100%.
I think it's very
copy.
clear from the reaction, just critically and just financially, people are going. There's probably going to be another one of these. Like,
no,
people,
100%.
It definitely rubbed off in the right way to most people. Most Lilo and Stitch fans probably
I just
enjoyed
don't know
it.
what they're going to do next. I could, like, movies in general, I could see being turned to live action would probably be something like Frozen. That's like one I
think we're definitely heading down that direction. But kind of how I'm saying with these movies, especially these more modern Disney movies, they feel like Frozen is somewhat older now. It's like
2013, right?
Yeah, like it's not a completely new movie
over
by
a decade.
today's standard at all. No, the original Frozen is 2013, which is
crazy.
It's not recent, but it's also not long ago. I feel like it's still a very modern animated Disney movie.
I mean, it's 13 years old.
Tangled was a little before that too, but I'm just saying these movies definitely have a more modern feel than as opposed to even Snow White. But even Snow White, I didn't think needed to be made.
No,
Frozen does not need a live action.
No,
remake.
it doesn't. But I could see them doing it because Frozen didn't Frozen become the biggest Disney?
It's like one of the biggest properties. It's pretty modern. You know what I mean? Frozen took over.
That is how I look at it, and I want to see if they were to do live action, because it's reality they're going to. Like, movies I'd like to see is honestly Brother Bear. I feel like movie.
That's a niche call out.
It's a niche call out, but I just feel like the meaning behind that movie and a lot of the scenes are very moving.
Yeah.
And
seeing
the Northern Lights would be awesome.
I agree. The ones that are kind of slept on might call for a live action remake. Like, imagine a live action remake of Treasure Planet.
And exactly.
That would be pretty cool.
Sounds crazy, but imagine they threw Dinosaur out there now. But I mean, like Atlantis, any of them, like
I don't think. Well, Dinosaur would be another Lion King
it was a joke.
So I don't know if we need that.
But I mean, Atlantis is so big, so which is why I feel like if they change the story a little bit, people would get mad. But like something like Brother Bear, as much as I love that movie and I'd love an exact copy with more emotion in it, but
yeah,
I would want to see them go the more niche route.
Yeah,
because I feel like those are something that aren't as popular, where the fan base surrounding them, like a cult.
Yeah, imagine. Just think about it right now. I'm gonna put yourself in shoes right now. You see a trailer tomorrow, and it's just like another. It's a remake of Sleeping Beauty, and you're just like, or Beauty and the Beast, something like that. Yeah. You're just like, like another one of those. You know what I mean?
Beauty and the Beast would be
as opposed to seeing a trailer for Brother Bear remake
or Balto. Like, I'd be hyped for some of that stuff.
Something that's just obscure.
Fox and the Lady and the Tramp, like those stuff would be cool.
See, some that like I wouldn't say overly worked, but they did a remake of Pete's Dragon, which was like
they did. I forgot about that.
That was at least somewhat interesting. You know what I mean? Like, because everyone had forgotten about Pete's Dragon. Like, I watched it in first grade. Like,
Fox
the original one.
Would be awesome.
Fox and the Hound. There's some good ones that I think genuinely could they could find a new angle and do something cool with, and also just bring back the IP.
Lady and the Tramp. A crazy niche call out to me would be Oliver and Company. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Like,
that's a great call.
There's certain movies I'd like to see be put into live action.
Yeah, I feel like they already they already exhausted all their big ones. Like, what's moved past Mulan? What's moved past?
Yeah, Mushu not being that. Like, those are the changes that I feel like are so critical to the development of the character and the story that you can't get rid of. I will still say this: getting rid of Gantu was too critical to get rid of.
That is very similar to getting rid of Mushu, though.
Like,
I agree.
it's too critical. You're getting rid of the big antagonist. Like I said before, it's the same thing.
I do want to we'll bring some attention to the other side of Memorial Day box office. So the new Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning made $79 million domestically this weekend. Just a great weekend for the movies in general. This is a great sign. I'm loving going. Blockbuster season is well underway, but Memorial Day weekend is always a great indicator if people are interested in the movies.
It's getting me excited.
And people are.
It's getting me excited going into the summer because
we still got Superman. We still have Superman.
Not even just that, but it's just all these different announcements, different things. Like, you're saying Superman, but like James Gunn is now developing Instagrams for other heroes, which is getting me very antsy. It's like, James.
Well, we're just really ramping up blockbuster season here.
I'm
just loving seeing the studios really go in on how big this season is.
There's so many movies coming out the rest of the year. Like, I was looking at some of these trailers. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot that's coming. Oh my, like, there is so much coming out that I feel like this is one of the craziest years we've been alive for. Yeah, like, really is.
But I do want to talk Mission Impossible real quick, just for a second.
Yeah.
seeing that movie, 79 million is the biggest. That's the biggest opening in the entire franchise, which is, they saw a very bad. They didn't get the numbers they quite wanted with the first release. The part one, the Final Reckoning part one, because a lot of that might have had to do with Barbenheimer kind of just sweeping. They had a week before Barbenheimer.
Great
and Barbenheimer
double
killed
feature,
them.
by the way.
Yeah, it was a great double feature, but that's exactly why no one saw Mission Impossible Final Reckoning Part 1.
That was, I think, the best reason we've had. That was one of the best supports of memes by far.
See, that was a great indicator of people going back to movies, but I think this season even more, just overall, this blockbuster season is really getting people back into the theaters.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it already. And
And
I know when
AMC
Fantastic Four and Superman hit, it's going to be
AMC
a
wants
lot
to
more.
cut the price of the tickets now too.
Yeah.
So I
That'll
hope
help.
they do it
I
because
hope.
I hope they do it because this summer.
They're doing it. It's going in full swing.
Oh, okay. You'll see
later
me at
this
How to
summer,
Train Your
$6
Dragon,
on
Fantastic
Wednesday.
Four, The Conjuring. You'll see me at Superman. I'll be there.
I'm a Stubbs
Primitive
member, so I'll be
War.
there for all these.
Primitive War. I'll be there. I mean, I
Yeah.
could keep going with everything dropping this summer.
There's
It's insane.
there's a ridiculous amount of
Jurassic
movies.
World.
Small
dropped another
budget, too
trailer.
large budget too. It's
Yeah.
it's all over the place.
Jurassic
which
World
is-
dropped another trailer.
Yeah,
You have
no.
flying velociraptors, the D-Rex you see.
I'm just happy. I'm just really curious to see what Gareth Edwards does. It's been a minute
We
for him.
still haven't seen a megalodon, and it's in it.
Yeah,
Which is why I'm excited because it's supposed to be more accurate than the Meg and better. So
Well, I know how big of a fan of Rogue One you are, so I know
Yeah.
we're both pretty damn excited for it. See what he does with Jurassic Park.
I am. And
Because I know how passionate he is about working in franchises.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
He respects them.
his
to
work
such a
his
degree.
work shows very well. Like
Yeah.
you could tell like this was made with passion. And I'm
100%.
excited. I'm very excited. This summer is
Yeah,
just
he's-
jam packed.
No, I agree. And, well, when it comes to these upcoming weeks, we do have the one more live action remake with How to Train Your Dragon, but after that, there's quite a bit of original stuff coming out too, mixed in with it. So, yeah, I just think this is an exciting season, both small scale and large scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of announcements. Also, Comic-Con's coming up. I'm excited to see what's going to go on with DC and Marvel. And even hopefully we get a update on Spawn, what's going on, Invincible, everything. Like this is a very big thing because it kind of seems like the comic book genre is about to rechange itself and adapt in different ways.
It's interesting because the comic book genre or the comic book movie genre really changed the movie industry.
Since 2022,
to
I
get
think
better,
it's
but I
been
feel like
different.
a lot of people's response now, it's kind of like it's coming back in a way because a lot of people's response to movies in general are changing people's response to comic book movies.
The biggest thing I want to say about comic book genre right now that I'm going to give a lot of credit to James Gunn, and even Marvel might take the jump, which I think they will because they've gotten more violent in some of their movies, is a lot of the fan base, a lot of people know, is it's made for kids, but there's a lot of adult following behind all these films.
Yeah.
Most of the people who are on TikTok, social media, these influencers are all adults and want more violent projects, more darker projects.
Well,
So
it's clear they're listening to
well,
their
look
fans
at
now.
Andor,
Yeah.
for example. Literally was for its mature fans, it seemed.
Mhm.
I mean, look at what we're getting now. We have confirmed rated R DC
Well,
projects on
it's
top
kind
of
of
it.
like a damn shame because Andor is kind of a clear example of why a lot of these projects don't happen.
Yeah.
And when a studio will push these through. A studio will push a riskier project through if it's about a character like Cassian Andor,
Yeah.
where he's like, all right, he's in Rogue One. He's not super loved. He's loved now. But before
No one
before
cared.
Andor came out, no one really cared.
You remember when Andor came out?
Yeah.
I said word for word. I go, what is even the point of this?
Exactly.
I go, if you want
Even before I started watching Andor, I was like, why?
I even said
Yeah.
like right when season 1 came out a couple of years ago, I was like, I understand you want to explain what happened before Rogue One, but I said it to you best. I go, why are we not getting more on the Cad Bane stuff that you only see
That's what I'm saying.
unfinished online, the Grievous backstory,
And
Old
it-
Republic,
what
and
fans typically would want, and Andor ended up being exactly what fans needed.
It
Which
is.
is
and it
the
shows
crazy
you that
part,
they
you know?
need to make more mature projects. It seems like
Yeah.
everyone's fan base is growing up, and the properties are not
Yeah.
growing up with.
But again,
us.
getting back to my point,
Yeah.
put yourselves in the shoes of the studio. That you go up to, you're a studio exec, right? I come up to you, hey, can we make a show about Cassian Andor? I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Give me full creative control. Show about Cassian Andor. Yeah, we'll give you full creative control. That might be interesting.
Yeah.
I want to make a show about Emperor Palpatine, and I want full creative control. What is the Star Wars exec gonna say?
Yeah, they're gonna say no, especially with how
Say
big
no.
of a
They're
character.
gonna say
he
hell
is.
no. They're gonna
Yeah.
say hell no. That's never gonna fly.
And I wish they didn't do. I wish they didn't do that with the sequels. I wish they
Yeah.
prevented that. But the thing I wanted to say about these, the genre changing, especially with the summer and how all these things are planned out, especially when they're gone. Rated R Green Lantern, rated R this, rated R that.
Yeah.
I want people to understand something. You go to other countries that have influenced us, we'll say Japan, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
They introduce things such as death, alcohol, cursing, all that stuff at such a young age and make it just a theme that's a part of these, children shows, whatever, and it's not a big deal.
Censorship has made things very interesting, especially for the comic book genre.
This is why I'm excited, because you have stuff like Peacemaker, The Suicide Squad. Peacemaker Season 2 is coming out, and I'm so excited for that after watching the trailer. I mean, even at even some of these Marvel movies, like, dude, Mr. Fantastic got shredded in half. Like, you saw Black Bolt literally disintegrate his brain. Like,
they have the content. They got the source material.
They all are. I mean, even in Deadpool is so kidified, but it's gory and it's rated R. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they need to understand that they can jump and introduce these things in all these movies. I mean, at the end of the day,
even for their bigger characters, I want to see swings taken for would see a crazy take on Spider-Man, would see a crazy take on Iron Man. I
wouldn't mind that. Like Kraven the Hunter, like very dark, like crazy wall of things, like backstory.
Well, that Kraven movie was rated R. Did anyone see it?
We're not talking about that, though. I'm saying in general. But there's like, it just, you look at other countries and they've had some of our properties like that have come from here, and they've done great making it more mature, and it makes you think, why are we refusing to take that step? It's because of our censorship. I mean, the Clone Wars got away with it because it was animated, but you think Darth Maul...
Well, Clone Wars got away with it because George Lucas financed the entire thing.
That is also true. But
so he made what he wanted.
But you look at it, it's like you saw live-action Savage Opress or Darth Maul beheading kids and innocent villagers. That's not flying. Asajj Ventress choking a clone commando, stabbing him, and kissing his corpse. That's not going to live action.
That's what it is right there, though. It's because these people, most creators don't finance their entire projects. If people did have the money to finance everything, we'd see a lot more mature, darker stuff. Yeah. But these studios are in control of these properties, and they get to choose how they are presented to the public, and that's just what we're seeing. Yeah. But anyways, talked a lot about that. Please, I implore all of you to go to the movies this summer. There is a lot. And if you're not even a movie fan, I know there is something out there for you. I just know it.
I know it's easy to stream. I know it's so much, it seems better. Get back into the movie experience, because one thing I did realize is sitting down, putting your phone away, the communal experience is something that you don't always get at home. And especially with a lot of these movies that are changing history. Like, I haven't seen Sinners, but I will give it. All I've heard is good things. It's like, you guys see it. Now it's back in IMAX. I'm going to see it this week. Yeah. Go enjoy that.
I'm loving. I mean, I see Sinners twice, and both experience I had in the theater were phenomenal. And people were reacting.
And I'm gonna bring this thing in when it's a little older, but when I saw Oppenheimer, I thought that was one of the craziest experiences I've seen in my entire life. And the memes were funny and like were over dramatic, but you go see a movie like that, or even a movie that you enjoy. Let's
nowadays, memes are what if you see a meme, a movie's good.
Yeah,
or at least it's rubbing off well on the public.
I hate to say it, but the Minecraft movie had like a great, like at least my environment was great, but that's for different reasons. Like sometimes you're gonna get great fan reactions, or you're just gonna enjoy the movie. Like go and see it. You sit in the theater, go enjoy it.
Please go to the movies this summer. We'll catch you guys next time.